Well, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that are just joining, welcome to Tackle's Cloud Go-to-Market XP event. My name is Alex Smith. I'm VP of Channels and Go-to-Market Research at the Futurum Group. And I'm delighted today to be the host of this Hyperscaler session with Google Cloud. And I'm joined by Marc Harpster. Marc, welcome, and why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Great. Thank you, Alex. Hello, everyone. Hope the sessions have been great and informative so far. I'm really excited to be here. Longtime friends with the folks at Tackle. So I'm Marc Harpster. I am the Channel Strategic Initiatives Lead here at Google Cloud Marketplace. I've been with Google for about a year and a half, and my general mission here is to help bring independent software vendors and channel partners together, take advantage of the Google Cloud Marketplace to figure out how to sell software and services to our customers. Before I came to Google, I actually spent almost a decade at another cloud provider, our good friends at AWS, and I worked on their marketplace for my entire tenure there. So very familiar with this space. It's super passionate about it. I have seen for years the good work that Tackle does. So again, I'm just thrilled to be here and looking forward to our conversation, Alex.
Yeah, you bet. And as you alluded to, a very close-knit community once you kind of get into the world of marketplaces and ISVs and co-sell. Look, let's kind of dive into like where Google Cloud is at vis-a-vis its marketplace. And I think, as a industry observer, as an industry analyst, I think it's fair to say that, Google Cloud, when it comes to just of the three hyperscalers, has been the challenger hyperscaler, and I think that also reflects in the actual Google Cloud Marketplace side of things. So why don't you just quickly, for those who are watching that might be new to Google Cloud, give us a little bit of a recap as to where Google Cloud is at vis-a-vis its marketplace performance and growth trajectory. And I think we might have hopefully some slides to kind of pop up just to kind of showcase some of, oh, there we go. Yeah. So why don't you walk us through some of that, Marc?
Yeah, so these numbers are, what we released at the end of 2024, and represent sort of the growth that we've seen in Google Cloud Marketplace up through the end of last year, and really kind of set us up for where we're headed moving forward. But happy to announce that we achieved billions with an S in total customer purchases through the Google Cloud Marketplace at the end of 2024. And so I know that's not a super granular number, but hopefully that kind of gives everyone a sense of like, oh wow. So as you said, Alex, Google Cloud has often been kind of seen as the challenger, but if the challenger is doing billions, then you get a good sense of where cloud marketplaces are in general, right, across all three major cloud providers. Some of the numbers that are driving that, continued low growth in our listings. Over 2,000 new listings were added last year, which is 160% growth over the previous year. So, our software vendors are continuing to put more and more products up. We're getting more and more unique and new ISVs that are listing their products in the marketplace. And this is driving a ton of the growth then that customers hopefully have the selection that they look for. That 170% represents the growth in gross revenue through our resold, our channel partners. Okay, and so last year we launched a feature called the Marketplace Channel Private Offers, MCPO. I won't go too deep into that now. I think we're going to talk a little bit about that later, Alex. But we saw 170% growth in channel sales after the release of that feature year over year. And it was one of the things I was surprised with is just the volume and the size of some of these channel-led transactions, I shouldn't have been that surprised, because I know that a lot of the big channel partners out there had been doing this on the other clouds for a few years, and they were just kind of waiting. They said, "Google, as soon as you're ready, we're gonna hit it," and that's exactly what happened. And so it was really exciting to see, those deals come in, and to see customers, get to buy what they wanted through the partner that they wanted, as we launched that last year. And then finally, you see 500% year-over-year growth in AI transaction revenue for the marketplace. So this is a big strategic, direction, and it's an area that Google Cloud, has a lot of core competence in. Again, I won't go too deeply on this slide, because I think we're going to talk a little bit about this later in our conversation. And then one last little figure that I'll give you that's not on this slide, but recently we had one of our most important partners, ISV partners, Palo Alto Networks, actually made their own announcement that they've achieved over $1 billion in total revenues going through the cloud marketplace. So we're really happy to partner with them, and just another testament that shows that ISVs have definitely drunk the Kool-Aid of the power of cloud marketplaces. They understand that larger deals can transact through cloud marketplaces. They can transact faster, right? We see up to over 30% speed in terms of the sales cycle. So there's the whole flywheel effect. The more software you have in the marketplace, the more options you have for customers to buy. The more the customers buy, the more software that they can go and push and say, "Hey, why aren't you available on marketplace?" The more channel partners start leaning in to say, "Oh, we can bring even more customers into this," and then even bigger deals, even faster deals. And so it's been really fun to come to Google and really help get that flywheel spinning. So super excited about where we're headed.
Yeah, and I think what even is kind of hidden in that first data point, and I know it takes a lot of work to kind of get these data points kind of approved and kind of out to market and whatnot, but there's kind of almost two factors there. It's one, it's new ISVs that are coming to the marketplace and seeing it as a route to market, but then it's also existing ISVs that are seeing success and then adding new solutions to their portfolio that's on the marketplace, right? So you kind of it adds to that kind of flywheel motion that you're talking about there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's we've one of the things we've launched this year is a new sort of programmatic approach. We call it ISV Catalyst, but really what it is it's we're trying to work with all of the brand new born in the cloud ISVs that are out there to learn about not only the marketplace earlier in their life cycle, but also how to co-sell with a cloud provider, right? Like it's more than just transacting to a marketplace. It's all about, hey, can we partner with Google Cloud, right? Can we leverage the Google Cloud sales force, right? There are thousands of reps that theoretically could be harnessed, and how do we do that? So there's kind of 10 key steps to success. So now the moment that a customer who has built some workloads that are running on GCP and they realize, oh, this could actually be a product that we could sell, Google, do you have any guidance? Like the first thing we start doing is say, hey, here's the 10 steps of success, right? Here's how to get onto the marketplace, how private offers work, some of the importance of resolving channel conflict early. So it's been really exciting to work with our sales teams on that, right? Because the first point of contact is a sales rep, right?
Yeah.
And so those 2,000 new listings, like you said, a lot of that is just an existing ISV who's adding more new products into the fold, but a whole bunch of brand new born in the cloud ISVs are putting their products up on the marketplace as well. So it's a great time to be a customer, right? Because more and more you're able to see these new products arrive.
Yeah, great to hear about programs like Catalyst. It came up in one of the other sessions that there's often, especially for maybe higher ups in some of these ISV organizations, where there's this kind of belief that, okay, once we kind of listed, that's just going to start driving activity, but there's as you highlight, there's a lot of work to kind of get up into that, point of listing on the marketplace. And then there's all that co-sell activity that then still has to happen kind of downstream to get to some of these performance figures that you're highlighting. So, hey, I want to move on to the next topic, and you kind of teed it up a little bit, and certainly it's highlighted there in your middle data points around channel evolution and some of the new programs that you've launched in your marketplace. And just like as an industry observer, when I go back 6-8 years in this topic, it was very much, the debate, that the question that was out in the market was, is it marketplace or is it traditional channel? Mm-hmm. And I think what we've gradually seen over that time frame, it's an and equation. And all the leading marketplaces are now starting to embrace that, and absolutely Google is doing that too. So why don't you walk us a little bit through to some of the, what you're doing in terms of activating channel partners on the Google Cloud Marketplace?
Yeah, love this topic. Obviously, it's in my title, and so I've been, honored to really kind of come and help and grow this business here within Google Cloud. And you made a good point. Like, are we friends or foes for the channel, right? And the way I always answer this question is, well, we're your friends if you want us to be, right? If you're in the marketplace, we're your friends. And so I spend a lot of time talking to different channel partners about how it works, right? So I referenced earlier, middle of last year, July of 2024, we launched our Marketplace Channel Private Offers feature, which really for the first time allowed, value-added resellers, systems integrators, everyone who's in the software channel space to be able to deliver offers directly to their customers. At Google Cloud, we operate a little bit differently than some of the others, where we allow the channel partners to manage all of the billing for the customer, and partners love this, right? Because most of them, there's a few who are like, we're good either way, but many of them have told me like, oh, it changes everything, right? It changes the way we recognize revenue. It allows us to better manage our expectations with our customers, and we love that you do this, Google. And so that's why, within days of the launch last year, we saw a huge uptick in the number of deals that were coming through, the size of the deals that were coming through. It was clear that both the channel partners themselves as well as their customers were waiting, right? Like you said, a few years ago, we were kind of wondering, do marketplaces, do you need channel resellers with marketplaces? And resoundingly, the answer is yes, right? These customers want to continue to buy through their preferred channel partners because there's a trusted relationship there, right? Marketplaces have a ton of great features. We'll talk some more about those as we go forward, but it's hard to replace that human connection, right? When you're used to buying, all of your software through, CDW or WWT or even like some of the smaller, more focused partners that are out there. We've been working with all of them to get familiar with our tools, to grow this business, right? And the other thing about Google is for many years we've worked kind of more broadly with the channel than some of the others, even just around Google services, themselves. We have thousands of different sell partners who have been reselling Google Cloud itself with hundreds of thousands of customers. And so how can we, get these folks up to speed on, hey, you now have the ability to go and resell thousands of new software titles out of the marketplace, and I'll be the first to admit we introduced a little bit of friction in some cases by doing this, right? Because it's one thing to resell Google Cloud, it's another thing to resell thousands of different software titles, and so we're as we look forward, we're coming up with a lot of different ways to kind of smooth out how and when customers buy through a channel partner, right? So some of the things you're going to look at as we go forward will be, hey, if you're a software vendor, you're going to be able to learn earlier in the sales cycle. If you're already talking to a customer, you want to know, hey, do you buy it directly from Google or do you buy it through a channel reseller? And it's the funny thing that one of the lessons learned for me is sometimes the customers don't really even know that. Um, right? Because maybe you're selling to a data analytics person and they have no idea who actually pays the bills, right? Who they're paying the bills to for their cloud services. And so we're going to try to add some telemetry, right? Some
Mhm.
tools that ISVs can use to learn this a little bit earlier in the process. We're going to add some different options that allow, ISVs and channel partners to work better together, right? What we've learned is if we can get to the point where the channel partners earn the trust of the ISV business, they start bringing new customers to those ISVs, like this, there's a thriving business to be had here, right? Whereas in cases where the deal terms are already kind of they're kind of locked, then we just want to remove that friction and get the customer the software they want as quickly as they can. So a lot of exciting things are coming for our channel private offers feature that I think are going to delight both our ISVs and our channel partners. And at the end of the day, that's going to delight our customers. So super excited for what's coming next.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is amazing just to kind of take a step back and see like, the hyperscalers, Google Cloud are taking on like almost kind of like in you kind of squint to see like almost like a role of like what a traditional distributor might have done in terms of being that, connectivity glue between all the different ISVs that you're working with and now all the different channel
Yeah.
partners that you're working with. And I know Google has done some, very unique things there that, as you alluded to, have a lot of value for partners in the industry. But like anything, when you're kind of doing something new, it takes some time for those partners to kind of get up to speed with that and to kind of get familiar with some of those new motions. But certainly great
Yeah.
to see that kind of leaning into the to the channel partner landscape with your marketplace strategy. Um, I want to now move on to we've done pretty well, Mark, by getting kind of this far in the conversation without talking about AI. But I don't
Yeah.
think we're going to kind of escape the topic completely. It is, probably outside of marketplaces, probably the number one topic that kind of dominates a lot of industry conversation. I was at Google Next a few weeks ago now. Obviously, lots of AI announcements and whatnot. But why don't how does AI think or impact the way that you're thinking about marketplaces in kind of your capacity, and what are how are you looking at that opportunity?
Yeah. Great topic. And we're I, I'm glad you brought this up. I mean, Google really is a leader here, right? And so we should be talking about it. And so when you ask, what do we think of, AI from a marketplace perspective, I want to tell you a little story about, AI agents, right? I think this has been a really hot topic, like you mentioned. We talked a lot about it at Google Cloud Next last month. And we one of the things we announced at Next was the AI agent marketplace, right? We where we have a whole bunch of basically agents that have been listed from both ISVs and a lot of them from GSIs, who we really see are leaning into this space. There are over 130 active listings, from folks like Accenture, Deloitte, Wipro, Palo Alto, NVIDIA, Optimizely, a whole bunch of different options are already there. And we expect to be adding thousands more this year. So when we talked earlier about like the number of listings that are getting added to the marketplace, AI agents represent just a massive area of potential growth for us, right? We expect to be over maybe 1,500 by the end of the year. And so what are these things, right? What are AI agents? So to some extent, this could just be the same, ISV software. It could be, software as a service, just like what ISVs have been listing in marketplaces for years. But it depends on, what they're doing with that software. It could also be like a Kubernetes listing, where it's a very bespoke solution. And this is where we start to see GSIs leaning in a lot more. Earlier this year, we launched a new listing type for Google Cloud Marketplace Professional Services. And what we're seeing now is GSIs are listing a lot of agents as a professional service because it's really what it is, right? And so we're starting to see all these like agent to agent use cases where, there's agents that are built and running, elsewhere outside of Google Cloud altogether potentially. And sometimes these agents can work really well together. And then we also have, this thing called agent space, which is an area we're going to get, closer and closer to, which is, agent space is a basically a space where you're going to see a whole bunch of agents, right? The marketplace can serve as the commercial back end for all of this. And what we really, the ecosystem is the key here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we are excited to get to work with everyone who's already embracing the power of AI agents. And honestly, to bring it back to Tackle for a minute, I think this is an area where Tackle could really help, right? Like they've been in the world of listing software products, helping ISVs list software products in marketplaces for years, right? And as we go into this new world of AI agents, I see there's probably a lot of companies out there that are going to need continued support into how this whole thing works, how these things are bought and sold, right? How does co-sell work around AI agents? I'm not exactly sure we even know the answers to some of these things yet, but I'm super excited to be able to support it and to learn about it with all of our customers who as they list more of these agents.
You touched on something there, which actually kind of came up in another session too about this, the importance of marketplace being kind of the commerce engine behind whatever the business model for AI agents looks like in the future. And if you think about it, right, like in the same way that cloud disrupted, kind of software, not just in deployment, but actually how it's consumed and paid for, right? You have microservices, you have, you can consume a piece of software for microseconds, you can pay for software based on the amount of consumptions. In the world of AI agents, now there's a lot of companies that are thinking about like outcome-based, like kind of selling opportunities. And, however 100%. The business model evolves, marketplaces, need to become like that flexible kind of transaction, like kind of element that can support a whole range of different business models, depending on, all myriads of factors, right?
Yeah, it's really an opportunity for anyone who's, building AI into their solutions and wondering, hey, could this be some type of AI agent? Like, just think about what is the value prop? Like, what is the problem that we're solving with this? Because you're right, that's going to help you think about what is the monetization strategy for this, right? And so it's really exciting time to be looking ahead and thinking about all these things.
Yeah. And I also just want to double click on one more thing that you said about some of the early kind of adoption that you're seeing is the GSI community. And I think that's, there has, again, as an industry observer, there has been some questions around like everyone as AI's kind of come onto the scene. It's both been, how some businesses going to kind of, ride that, that headwind and which ones, ride that tailwind and which ones are going to face some headwinds. And I think, in the GSI that there are those, acute questions there, but to see them like really leaning into it and like building AI agents and to try and softwareize their offering and then, and then embrace modern go-to-markets through marketplaces. I think that was super interesting kind of learning that, that you guys shared with us. So we're getting mindful of time, got about 6 minutes left, but there is one other topic that I wanted to touch on, and that's kind of like forward looking and thinking about how, product-led growth strategies will play an increasingly important role in marketplaces. And in some ways, I think this kind of comes back to like the early day thinking of like what marketplaces will bring, right? Is that discoverability, that that those trial kind of capabilities. So maybe future cast a little bit. What are some of the things you're doing to enable product-led kind of growth in marketplace now, and also how do you think it's going to evolve going forward?
Yeah, great question, and you're right. Like near and dear to my heart because it takes me back, back to my early days in cloud marketplaces. I joined the AWS marketplace team when it was 2 years old, right? And we didn't have offers. We didn't have like enterprise transactability. We didn't have, cloud spend drawdown, right? Like none of that stuff existed. It was all about, hey, how can we get more engineers to find this solution and buy it, right, and pay hourly, right? And so it's kind of fun to see the not just at Google Cloud but everywhere in this industry, the importance of coming back around to that, because you kind of mentioned something a few minutes ago that is an important point to this, which is that in some ways the marketplaces can kind of serve almost as this like distribution agent, right, in the middle of things. And I believe that's very true, right? I think that the marketplace will always reside at the center of hopefully increasingly complex transactions where multiple partners are participating, right? You've got some software here, you got some AI there, you've got services over here, and maybe there's someone like a GSI who's sort of running quarterback and pulling all these things together, right? And then the power of the marketplace is, hey, maybe it's a single transaction, or even if it's a few transactions, you can still record all that, and the importance of capturing all that data is critical, right? But the other end of that spectrum is there is no better place than the marketplace itself to go out and potentially recruit new customers through the maybe some intelligent listing capabilities and engagement features, right? And so we're already looking at, we've built out a pretty robust roadmap for where we want to head in this direction. Full disclosure, the last few years at Google Cloud, we've really been focused on clean enterprise level transactions, right? Making sure, like we mentioned, marketplace channel private offers, like we want to make sure that we're able to support those types of deals. But as we start to look forward, I mean, we have this outstanding tool that our customers could use, right? If we had better trials, if we had better search capabilities, if we had, better solution, if we built some AI into it so that a customer could really figure out how to solve their problem on their own, right? Like many customers don't want to go talk to the rep as step number one. They want to go try some stuff out, right? They want to go get a demo. They want to go. They may be on a vendor or a partner's website and say, "Yeah, I want to spin this thing up and just try it really quick." And they click that button there, and it goes over to the marketplace and spins some stuff up, right? So a lot of APIs are required to do all of this. So we've got this big, long, robust roadmap that hopefully will empower a lot of those things to happen, because then it's not just a procurement guy talking to a sales gal and a 5-year deal magically gets done. Rather, you've got multiple people from within a customer that are out trying stuff out, and then you've got someone who's minding all this. Again, the power of the data of the marketplace now is important to say, wow, I've got 3 different people that are using this interesting solution. Let me get on the phone with them, find out how they're using it. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's time for more of a department or even enterprise-wide license for this. Now I'm going to call that sales rep, right? Yeah. And really how you tell the story of if every customer out there could go and do some of their own work and their own exploration, and we empowered that through our marketplaces, that's a fun world. That's commerce, right? That's the next wave of commerce that I want to be able to support. So that's kind of where I'm thinking and where I know we want to go. Again, it's just an exciting time to get to go and visualize those things and ultimately build them.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how obviously how the Google Cloud Marketplace evolves with some of those new capabilities and features in the coming years, but also as the whole industry evolves, and there's always that kind of nice check and balance and of innovation in the landscape that kind of I think drives this go-to-market motion forward, and so it's been great to watch that, and great to see Google also leading in many of those efforts. Well, Marc, thank you so much for for hopping on here and spending time with us. We're spending time with the Tackle team, and thank you to Tackle for hosting this event and hosting this session. And thank you to all the different watchers out there that are spending time with us in your busy days.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the great conversation, Alex, and great to hopefully this was valuable to everyone on the call. And a big thanks to Tackle for inviting me. So happy to be here.
Bye.